In Palestine, childhood has a different taste. In Palestine, childhood has a different taste. It is being born with the certainty of injustice.
Why is a 5-year-old facing an Israeli soldier right next to her house?
أنا بيتي كتير قريب على إشي بسموه مقام النبي يوسف، وهو مكان بيجوا إسرائيلية بيعملوا حفلات وبيصلوا، فكل مرة بيجوا بكسروا الدنيا وبخربوا الحارة. إذا كنت برا البيت بهداك الوقت بعد الساعة 12 ممنوع أفوت على البيت، فأكتر من مرة يعني ما كانش في مجال أرجع البيت.
In Palestine, childhood has a different taste, where on any given day, schools cannot be reached and family visits mean humiliation by soldiers on military checkpoints or separation of an apartheid wall.
This brings to mind experiences from the time of siege. During that year, I remember that my mother insisted that we go to school. So the school that we went to was closed. It's a private school, so none of that. But some public schools continue to exist. And so we used to go to public school, right? And it's curfew, so you actually can't, you risk being shot if you're in the street on the curfew.
In Palestine, childhood has a different taste. It is where the smell of tear gas is common.
Teta, let's fill a bucket of water just in case a gas canister just comes in the house or breaks a window so the house won't go on fire.
Stories of Palestinian children are of uncertain futures, defined by the fears, pains, stolen joys, and repressed childhoods.
وقت اجتياح نابلس 2004-2005 أبوي عنده محل في البلد القديمة في نابلس، كنت كل صيف بس تخلص المدرسة أروح وأساعده. في اليوم اللي رحنا هناك لقينا محل أبوي أسود فحم محروق من الاشتباكات اللي كانت تصير، وهذا الاشي بعدها بسنتين ردنا على.
The images of tanks raiding our neighborhoods still vivid. It is being familiar with the sound of bombings and the smell of death.
If an Israeli soldier was in a village and we were trying to play soccer, for example, in the street, they would start targeting us and shooting gas canisters at us.
What dies with a child? A life, hopes, dreams, potential, an entire future.
كل حدا بس يكبر كل شي شافه وكل شي خابره وهو صغير ضل معه.
There is a lot of potential, very strong energy coming from Palestinian young people.
راقص وبروديوسر في ستيريو 48. ستيريو 48 مجموعة رقص بلشت بال 2015.
The possibility of passion is vast.
بتذكر كنا بهولندا في فيستيفال اسمه مالتا فيستيفال، كان كتير بي بويز وكتير ليفل عالي، بس كل الناس قدرت تشوف منا اوكي تكنيكلي احنا مش بهداك الليفل، بس ايموشنلي قادرين يحسوا اكتر شو بنعمل حتى في البريك دانس.
Youth here are closed off. They see the world on the media, they see the world happening, but they don't necessarily participate per se. When you spark the possibility of them participating, then the energy that you see is extremely, powerful.
If I was living in a free Palestine, I would go to Jerusalem, eat some ka'ak as breakfast.
Our parents' generation, for example, they had the experience of exile, they had the experience of, going around the world, but they still went around the world. They saw other Arab countries, their idea of what an Arab country is, what it is to be Arab even. It's much more fleshed out. Growing here, it was very difficult to connect to even other Palestinians. Like growing up in the West Bank, going to Gaza increasingly became impossible.
Go to Jaffa, enjoy some of the views in the sea.
ستيرو 48 جامعة بين راقصين موجودين من الضفة، في معنى من القدس، في معنى من الداخل، وهاي التعددية خلال الشغل يعني بنقدر نحسها إنه في ناس بيقدروا يعملوا أشياء ناس تقدرش تعملها من ناحية possibilities.
I would love to go to the Jalil because I heard that viewing Lebanon from there is beautiful.
There's all these checkpoints between them, there's the wall dividing them, there's all these factors that just make it so that people are isolated.
إنه إحنا كمان عايشين في مكان اللي الحركة مش سهلة، التنقل مش سهل، في كتير بنستعمل gathering concept اللي كل الراقصين كتير بيكونوا قراب عن بعض.
I think one of the most important skills for Palestinian youth today, just from virtue of existing in the market as a company, is the ability to speak English and communicate with international audiences, etc. This is something that is so accessible to the point that our education system should naturally give that to people. Well, it doesn't.
بحس حالي أكتر حالي وأنا برا من وأنا هون، وهذا إشي إلى حد ما مؤلم إنه تكون في بلدك وش قادر تكون حالك.
There was a time where there was something called a national class of business leaders, PLO at the time. These even class today, do they exist? Is very much more debatable than before. In the future, it'll be hard to argue.
أظن إحنا بحاجة بس لناس تتقبل أكتر، وهذا التقبل بيجيش بفرض يعني أنا بزبطش أو لأبوي يتقبلني.
We need you to be braver.
With the continued denial of Palestinian youth access to spaces of expression, creation, and political participation, they are left to protect themselves with their imaginations, limited resources, and bodies. They are left searching for a life which no longer steals from them the possibility of a sustainable, healthy, healing future. We are the future, still breathing, even if without protection.